Oh wow, that's amazing. Because something as small as just listening to someone has made
Yes.
such a big impact in your life.
Yeah. Because it communicates something.
Yeah.
It says, I care. It says, I'm here for you.
After your lowest low, which was the attempt on, the attempted suicide, you spoke to a counselor. You now, at this point, what happens to your life? Tell us.
At that point, I later got married
Okay.
to the same boyfriend,
Okay.
and I also got a job, which is also another story. Because how I got the job, I had to walk office to office, job hunting. And part of the reason it took so long was because of my self-esteem issues. Because I could go for an interview, I know I can do a job, but I could barely express myself. I had like zero communication skills. And because of that, I think the interviewer would assume this lady, she doesn't know what she's talking about, she can't do that job. Yeah. But I eventually got a job. Then I got married, had 2 children. But then I had another turning point when my son was born, my first child was born. I didn't think I was good enough as a parent. Well, I wanted to be a great parent to my son. I wanted them to, the way an athlete trainer pushes their trainee, but without breaking their spirit. Yes, I wanted to be that kind of parent where I can raise my child in the right way, but without breaking their spirit, their spirit to get. So I signed up for parenting class, and that's the very first time I had thoughts of running my own business, of quitting employment, just so I could spend more time with my children. Yes.
Okay, and
And
then what happened?
later, I quit employment when my second child was, I was actually 4 months pregnant with my second child, and I had just been promoted.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so I resigned to start my own business. Then my marriage failed after that. We separated, and I had to pay rent for the first time. I had to take care of my children, I had to take care of myself while starting up a new business. And when we are pushed to that point where you cannot retreat, you see, I had to feed these kids. I had no plan B. I only had one plan, and I had to find a way of feeding them. I would call customers, I would cry. You see, at the same time, you're going through the pain of losing a marriage. So I would cry through the night and wake up in the morning and call clients and look for business. And that is how I started building my kids' entertainment business. That my pain pushed me.
Okay.
And slowly over time, I started gaining confidence. Now, when my business started growing, I started believing more in myself that actually, if I can do this, what can't I do? And at the same time, that's when I started motorcycling. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So wait, before we go into motorcycling. So what I'm hearing is, okay, we know that you were this very scared girl with no self-esteem, no self-worth, filled with self-doubt. You attempted suicide. You ended up seeing a counselor. You still ended up marrying the man from the disturbed relationship that you had before. You ended up having 2 children with him. You ended up getting a job, a promotion, and even quitting that job. You ended up even leaving this man. So what was that woman who we knew, the girl who was scared, transforming into? Because all this, I mean, the decisions you started making later in your life, like from quitting your job after promotion, leaving your husband, all this, that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of confidence as well. So, who tell us more about who you became at that point. Who were you at that point that in comparison to the girl from before?
At some point, I became intentional on becoming a better me, and I was not happy with my current reality. And I painted a picture of who I wanted to be. And every day I would wake up and visualize that woman and write it down. I would journal and tell myself, this is how I see myself. You should read my journal for all those years. And something else happened at around the same time while I was going through counseling. I became more aware why I used to act the way I used to act. And so I could differentiate, I could tell I'm shrinking in conversations, not because I'm stupid, but because it's because of this self-doubt. I started understanding that there is this greatness in me and it needs to come out somehow. And I became so intentional on working on me. I read books. I exposed myself to people who are where I want to end up. And I started building my mental toughness, and I started exposing myself to more situations that would require me to speak, because I was very afraid of speaking in public. But I started exposing myself intentionally. And I would go do a bad job, go cry, and then tomorrow do it again.
Exactly, because now you started regaining some sort of confidence. Your self-worth started to come back, and then you started spreading your wings. So tell us about, you quit your job, and then you set up Kiddie World. So tell us about Kiddie World.
Wow, the thing about Kiddie World is I feel like I missed out on a lot of fun as a child. And I truly believe there's nothing a child needs more than that bonding between you and the parent. Yes, they need to have boundaries, but that relationship where they know I can go to mommy anytime, I can hug mommy, we can talk, and daddy as well. Every child needs that, and that is what drove me. And if you notice, when we do a lot of our parties, we encourage the parents to participate, be engaged, put down the phone, and just watch your child, play with your child. Those moments, that's the best time to connect with your child, when they're having fun.
So you created an entire business out of
My experience.
your experience as
Yes,
a child.
I've put my broken pieces together. It became my job.
You took all the broken pieces and created something beautiful, so that other children don't have to go through it. That's so
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So then you mentioned you're a biker. So I really want to hear about that, because not only did this girl transform from broken into, whole and confident and with her wings spread. I mean, biking is, for too many years has been known for just to be a guy thing. Yeah, it's so manly to be a biker.
This is a part of me which is like my mother.
Okay.
My mother also is a biker, and she has been riding for years. I can't remember since yes.
In that generation, she was a biker.
Yes, and to this day she surprises people when she shows up with her bike.
Wow, I'd love to meet your mom.
Yeah, true. But how I started riding was different. The father of my children is the one who introduced me to biking.
Okay.
Yes, he was a biker. And how I started riding is because one day I asked him one time, why can't we go on to South Africa with a bike? When he had his bike. And he told me there's no way you can carry someone on a bike to South Africa. So I said, okay, what if I get my own bike? And he was like, okay, yeah, now that's workable. That's how the conversation started for my biking. And I signed up for a class.
Okay.
I can adventure, I can tour the world. And I'm going to South Africa with a bike.
Oh, you are? Wow.
I've done Kigali
Oh, you did Kigali with a bike?
with the Throttle Queens, yes.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Alone or with a group?
An all-female biker group called the Throttle Queens.
Ah, okay. Throttle Queens.
Throttle Queens. So we use biking to empower women, yes.
Wow, it's just women.
Yes, all female.
So you've done Nairobi, Kigali.
Yes, we've done Moshi, we've done Mombasa, we've done Nakuru.
Oh, that's amazing. So this is like your side hobby,
Correct. Yeah.
and you're planning on going to South Africa
Yes.
soon. Okay. So you're raising two sons,
Yeah. I'm raising a son and a daughter.
two children, a son and a daughter. And you're a single mom who's got a thriving business and rides a bike. How is that for them?
I think they think their mother is the coolest one, is the most coolest mom on earth. But the thing that I always think about is I'm preparing these two children for adulthood. I believe that's what parenting is all about, preparing your child for adulthood. So I'm constantly asking myself when I'm interacting with them, am I really preparing them in the right way? And have become very intentional on how I am as a mother, how I grow as a mother. And every day I spare time just to look at them and ask them, so how was your day? And play with them, and nothing gives me more joy. Actually, being a mother is what I enjoy most than anything else. Yeah.
So how, you mentioned at the start your relationship with your mom and your dad. And so how did they take this new person that you had become? First, how did they react to the suicide?
Interestingly, they discovered later, way later. Actually, my dad might not have had the story yet, but my mother, I shared with her later on, when I was married already. Yes.
But then now you transformed into this new person. Your esteem grew, your decision grew, you even got divorced. What was your parents' reaction?
They didn't take it so well, the divorce, but my mother is now very supportive of me. Our relationship has grown. We are good friends now, so I shared with her the entire separation journey, and she understood. She actually, the words she used was that, you're the one wearing the shoe, you know where it presses most.
What was the change in the relationship? When did it come about?
When I was going through counseling, one time I spoke to her and I told her how some of these things affected me.
How you felt?
Yeah, but being the typical African mother, she told me she had to do what she had to do, and she's the reason I am who I am today.
I know, but it gave you an outlet to discuss it with.
Finally, I was able to talk to her about it. That was huge for me.
No matter how she reacted, it did change your relationship with her. That's great. And did you ever look into how's the relationship between your mom and dad?
It's still, actually, I should have mentioned, when I grew up, when I got married, I got to understand what she was going through, because they didn't have a good relationship.
Do you think that was an attribute to how she was with you?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
And now it was only through your own experience in your marriage that you were able to realize this is why mom was.
She was frustrated. Yeah.
It's an eye opener, like I said earlier when I was introducing you, because I think that it's a lot of parent-daughter or parent-son relationships are like this. They're strained because maybe we don't understand why they did the things that we did until we're much older, and then we realize, oh, okay, you know.
And parents don't realize that the best thing you can do to your children, it can be as simple as loving your partner.
Exactly. Just loving your partner is all your child needs to flourish, right?
Yes.
But of course, also in your case and many other cases out there, is that when parents are unapproachable, things like that happen, where you feel my only outlet is to suicide or something as extreme. So just being able to ensure there's an open door between you and your child is extremely important, and that's what's come out very strong.
Yes. And at the same time, being very balanced and intentional about it. At the same time, let them know their boundaries.
Yes. No, of course, by all means, the strictness is there. You're saying spare the rod, spoil the child kind of thing, but at the same time, equally be
Present and put down the phone, anything, and look at them in the eye. It does something to a child. It doesn't matter what it is they're sharing to you. Just stare at them and go down to their level.
And also very important aspect of your story is how much opening up to someone professional has helped you overcome your mental health challenge, because it for you, it's what changed your life around.
Yes.
And we're all the same in that aspect. So the message here is, don't be scared to ask for help. There are professional people out there. You can be able to do it, and it will change your world around. Even if you feel all your other all your other doors are closed, there's always that option that comes out.
Because now another aspect, something else that does more damage, it can be your friend. You could go talk to a friend and they're like, you just need to get over it, but they don't know how deep some of these things can be. But when you go to a professional,
they know how to handle it. They know
Yes,
how
they
to
know
do it.
how to
It's extremely
help you move
important.
forward with, even with the challenges. They know how to help you move forward with the challenges
But
without breaking your spirit.
exactly. And then there's
Yeah.
something you raised which is extremely important, and something that the governments need to look into is that you ran out of money for professional help. So first you had the money. There are many people out there who don't even have the money to access in the first place. And that's why they end up harming themselves. But even if you do have the money, it is expensive. So it reaches a point where you have to stop. So it's something that gauging from how important it is to have that avenue open for everyone, indiscriminately, then it's extremely important for governments to ensure that that avenue is open for everyone, and so that we can reduce.
Yeah, and I'm also excited that churches are taking it up. My church, Nairobi Chapel, have a mental health session every month. So you see, at least there you don't have to pay.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So religious institutions can come in and play a very big role where they can actually have open. Yeah.
The religious institutions have professionals whom you can have one-on-ones with. But by whatever means, get help, because
Exactly.
yeah, can you imagine if I had died? I have put smiles to so many children.
So many, and all that would not have happened. But the other message, you raised something about you can go talk to a friend and they can just put you off. So it's the people. So you as a person, like you may have a friend who's suffering from mental health. I may. So it's also extremely important for us to be intentional and to be available. Yeah, we don't need to be professional. Exactly, just listen, and that makes a very, very big difference. And also the fact that you can take something that harmed you and broke you and turn it into such a diamond, like you did, so you felt, okay, my parents weren't available to me, I felt alone, and then you created an amazing flourishing business where now you're making parents do things with their kids. So that's amazing. I love that. I love it. Thank you so much, Victoria. This has been amazing, and I wish you all the best and all the, all greatness, and continue breaking more glass ceilings. Thank you so much.
I appreciate.
1 out of 4 people suffer from mental health related issues. 2 out of 3 of those people suffer from mental health issues because of chronic childhood trauma. This is a huge statistic. As parents, as family, as friends, we all play a role. If there's nothing you can say when somebody comes to you, the most you can do, the least you can do, is just listen. From the Holy Quran, in Surah 13 verse 28, no doubt in the remembrance of Allah, hearts find comfort. Have you subscribed to the Big Fat Talk Show? Click this button here. See you next time.